Hey guys, this is Flow Academy AP Psychology course. Last class we talked about Wave 3, psychoanalysis. The founder of this wave is Sigmund Freud. He mainly focused on the unconscious mind and divided personalities into three parts: id, ego, and superego. He also proposed iceberg theory and defense mechanism. These are what you must know about psychoanalysis in order to pass the AP Psychology exam. If you forget some of them, you should watch our last video, which is about psychoanalysis. Today, we are going to talk about behaviorism, the study of observable behavior. Everything starts from the 1920s. Behaviorism holds the view that psychology should be an objective science that studies behavior without reference to mental processes. However, most research psychologists today agree with the idea that we should consider psychology as an objective science, but not with the view that behavior should not refer to mental processes. Behaviorism contains two parts. The first one is classical conditioning. In classical conditioning, an animal or human learns to associate two stimuli with each other. This type of conditioning involves involuntary responses, such as biological responses or emotional ones. You need to remember two people that contribute to classical conditioning greatly: Evan Pavlov and John Watson. They both have their own experiments. Evan Pavlov conducted an experiment called Pavlov's dog. The dog will salivate when it is exposed. The dog will salivate when it is exposed to the food. In contrast, when the dog hears the bell, in contrast, when the dogs In contrast, when the dog hears the bell, they will not salivate. The next step of the experiment is that the dog will hear the bell before it is brought to food. After many times, the dog knows that the bell means the food, and it will automatically salivate when it hears the bell, even though people do not give food to it. This experiment demonstrates classical conditioning, the process by which an animal or human learns to associate two previously unrelated stimuli with each other. Pavlov's dogs learn to associate the response to one stimulus, which is salivating at the smell of food, with a neutral stimulus that previously did not evoke a response, which is the ringing of the bell. However, this type of conditioning involves involuntary responses. For John Watson, he only focused on observable phenomena such as behavior, stimuli, and response. He conducted the little Albert experiment. He said that, "Give me a dozen healthy infants, and my own special world to bring them up in, and I will guarantee to take any one at random and train him to become any type of specialist, lawyer, doctor." This is his view, and you should remember this, since it may appear on the AP test and ask you the sentence to represent which wave, and you need to choose the behaviorism. Then I will introduce you the little Albert experiment. John Watson and his students mainly let a nine-month-old baby, whose name was Little Albert, to be exposed to wet rat and other furious animals, like a rabbit or a dog or a monkey, as well as to cotton wool, burning newspapers, and other stimuli, all of which did not frighten Albert. Later, however, Albert was allowed to play with a little rat. Watson then made a loud sound with a hammer, which frightened Albert and made him cry. After repeating this several times, Albert became very anxious and terrifying when he was presented with when he was presented with the only wet rat. This showed that he had learned to associate his response, which was to become afraid and crying, to another stimulus that had not frightened him before. The other part of behaviorism is operant conditioning. Skinner believes that environmental stimuli that either encourage or discourage certain response, which is operant conditioning. He is also famous for Skinner box experiment. There are two parts of this experiment. The first part is that a hungry rat is put into a box with a lever. A hungry rat, and this is the lever. And whenever the rat press the lever, the rat will get the food. So if he press it, and there may be a food like cheese or something else. After some repetition, the rat started to run directly towards the lever when it entered the box. The second part is that another rat was put into a box with electrified floor, causing the mouse to be uncomfortable this time. And the rat would also find out that whenever it pressed the lever, the discomfort would disappear. By knowing this, after some time, the rat would directly press the lever when it was in a box. This experiment demonstrates operant conditioning, in which an animal or human learns some behavior like pressing a lever that is associated with consequences like giving food or stopping an electric current. There are mainly three types of reinforcement. First one is positive reinforcement. Something good is added to teach a new behavior. An example would be giving food to the rat when it pressed the lever. Second one would be negative reinforcement. Something bad is removed to teach a new behavior. An example would be to stop the electric current when the rat pressed the lever. The last one is punishment. Something bad is added to teach the subject to stop a behavior. The limitation for this way is that Pavlov did not take into account voluntary human behavior. Classical behaviorism never take cognition into account. The last wave I want to talk about is multiple perspectives. You can also refer it as eclectic. This wave mainly combines the advantage of previous waves and believes that several perspectives may give insight to them. That's all for today's lesson, and next time we will talk about other psychological perspectives. Thanks for listening.